Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a fabulous day. This will be the second of the Egyptian journals that you guys have seen. This one is going to Bronwen for her birthday, which you'll obviously be seeing it after after she gets it, but at the time of my filming is actually next week. So I wanted to walk you guys through and show you this as a contrast to the first one. And then the third journal, which is actually mine, is not finished yet, but I thought it could be cool to maybe make a series of videos of my thought processes behind it, and maybe even some craft with me as while I'm making it, sort of in bits and pieces. So, but anyway, we won't get into that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this baby up and we'll see what we've got inside. So looking at the outside here, I've got this was an old button that I've used as the closure, and some hessian sort of twine, and the cover is actually one of the pages from the Egyptology book, and I didn't want to do too much to it because it had this beautiful sort of illustration on it with the jackal and the temple and that sort of thing. So I decided to leave that as it was. And then the strings that are fastening this closed, if I unravel it so that you can see, have actually got, apart from the tassels and the little jingly bells, there's actually a couple of gold charms on there that are little paw prints, which I thought were really cute because they matched the jackal on the front. So that was sort of my thought processes there. And there is the two strings, but I worked them into one, one unit. So on the spine on this side, I have got some burlap sort of braid covering that and giving it a bit of reinforcement. And then on this spine on this side, this is actually where the signatures for the journal are attached. So you can see my stitching there in the rainbow thread with just the sort of fringed knot, which I just left as is. So then on the back, I have got a map here, which is also a pocket. And I've got this ephemera in there. And obviously Bronwen can add to this. And then in the second pocket, I have got this piece of ephemera, which is detailing some of the crowns of Egypt. And then on the back, it is actually a little notepad. So there's a few sort of craft paper pages, and then underneath these are some sort of hieroglyphic names of the kings, how they were written, which is on the back of here. So Bronwen does a lot of scrapbooking. That's where her hobbies lie, and so when I designed this particular journal, I did so keeping that in mind, thinking that she would probably want to use this for photos and memory keeping and that sort of thing. So unlike Mum's, which was very intricate and detailed and aimed at being more like an art journal, I have aimed this to be a bit more like an album that she can stick photos in if she wants to, and then write about those photos or even draw in, but it's laid out with much larger spaces and a bit more symmetry. So without further ado, let's get started. So this opens up this way here. And down the middle here, the first thing I should point out to you, if I turn it this way, is that is Bronwen's name in Egyptian hieroglyphs. And one important thing to know about hieroglyphics, you can write it facing whatever direction you want. So it can be read from left to right, or from right to left, or even top to bottom. But the way that you know where to start is that the hieroglyphic characters, so the animals, face the start of the line. So in this particular case, the bird is probably the easiest way to show you, is facing this way, which means that this is the beginning. So he's always looking at the start. So that says Bronwen. History lesson for everybody. So this way. So the first thing I'll show you guys, I suppose, will be this side of the journal here. So the first thing we've got is a really big pocket, a really big clear pocket, and that can fit a fair few things in it. And then it's got the illustrations from the book page underneath. And then I've just got some of the Egyptian fabric that I used on Mum's, some of the offcuts of that on this little piece of ephemera here, which is stapled onto a larger piece of tea stained paper. And then on the back of that is just a little bit of writing about the statues, and that's plain on the back. So that in there is just tucked into that, whoops, pocket for her to do with as she pleases. Now inside here is the actual signatures of the journal, the pages, and then this part here has got a little sideways pocket here with a tag, photo mat, whatever you want to call that, tucked in. And then this is another large tag underneath. And then this here is actually the Lord of the Rings. If you recall from Mum's, I used some of the pages out of my spare copy of the Lord of the Rings. And I did the same in here, even though it's an Egyptian journal. I think that Bronwen will get a kick out of that. So this now opens this way. And on this particular fold out here, we've just got this tuck spot. There's a little paper collage on here, and if you flip it over, this is a little blank booklet, photos, journaling, how have you. Underneath that little Alexandria postcard, and then this opens out again. Shuffle this way. Now in here, in this envelope, there's a piece of paper, which is just as is, just folded up. Like I said before, I tried to keep the pieces reasonably sized because I know that she's sort of more a scrapbooker style. Underneath here, there is a tag. And obviously there's enough room in these pockets. Bronwen can add her own bits and pieces as she goes. And then in this pocket here, there is a sort of ledger sort of style tag there. So that goes back in there. Now under here, we have got another piece of the map page, which forms the front cover of a little notepad under here. And then underneath the bottom page is also a pocket, and there is a pull-out tag there, which I really liked how these ones turned out. I was a big fan of these. And I kind of liked the symmetry of Alexandria here and Alexandria there being one of the larger cities in ancient Egypt. Now this page here, we have got very simple sort of photo mat journaling space, two little tags that all sit in there, and that just folds 1, 2, and we're back here again. So now these are the signatures, which are the same as what was in Mum's, pretty much. Some of the old diary that obviously can be used for writing and cover the dates and sort of vintage that up however Bronwen likes. The plain paper in here in the middle. And then in this signature, I have got tea-dyed paper, some sort of parchmenty looking paper, some craft paper, which was sort of off packaging, you know, in there to make that one up. And then this final signature here has just got lined paper in it. Underneath, I have got a pocket here, which from an ephemera, which has got a journal card with the pretty blue lace sort of work design there. And then I've got in this second pocket here a little booklet with the windmills on it, which has just got a combination of the tea-dyed plain and sort of the grid paper inside, which I thought would be a really cute little sort of wallet-sized photo album. So that's in that sort of tabbed pocket at the back there. If I can get it to go back in your home. There we go. It's a tighter fit because it's a thicker booklet. There we go. There we go, there we go. And then I've got a little letterbox pocket up here that is actually the full length of the page. So it's got a nice big sort of vintagey looking tag in there, and that just slips back in there. So that's that side. So now over here, what I did is I've got a spine piece of twine here that the opening, what do you want to call that, cord goes through, and that's just to keep this a little bit contained so that when you open the journal it doesn't just go everywhere. So this here, first off, has got just a tag bookmarky thing which just slips into there. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do this first so that you can see. This all opens out as to one big thing, and I didn't want to lose this page, so I'm going to take these things out and you'll see it as I go what I'm talking about. So this is the spine twine that I was talking about before, and it's got these corners here, which is where this tag was sitting. And then I've got here a paper clip which has got this little puppy tag under it, and then the slightly bigger one, which are free for her to decorate how she pleases. And then this here is actually on an elastic. It's a booklet and it slips out. So you've got a little paper collage on the front, a fabric pocket here with the tag inside. And then, like what I did with Mum's, there's also a pocket on the back with another tag. And then inside is the red end papers, and then just some pages to sort of write, photo, journal, draw, however we please. And then on this end here, there is another sort of bookmark style tag. And then once it's all out, you can see that this was the other part of the map, or part of the other. There was a folded up in the pocket map, which was thinner, and then there was a card map, which is what this is part of here. And I really wanted to retain the integrity of that illustration. So that's why I said about making sure that everything sort of fitted over it, into it, under it, so that once it was all taken apart, if Bronwen wants to, she could still read or look at the map. So these pieces will just fit. That fits back in there. The book slips in here, like that. These tags, that's an upside down one. Sam, think about what you're doing. That just slips under there like that. And then this one sits into here like this. So this can be opened out as one, but it can also be turned like a page, if that's what she chooses to do. And then that little string that I was talking about before that goes through here just helps to keep that closed. So then once again, if I'm to open it in the other direction, it can go all in one, and it can go as pages. So I'll just show you it this way for now, and then I'll open it out the next step. So here I have just got 3 little slip pockets that are just little tags inside here. So when they come out, you just see the little marks to show you where they go, and the paper underneath, and they will just slide in there, which I actually really liked. I wasn't sure doing that page how it was going to turn out, but I loved it once it was done. So there's that there. Now on this side here, I have got these envelopes with these borders that I drew, and I thought these would be a cute place for photos, although of course Bronwen might choose to do it however she likes, but in my mind that's kind of what I was thinking. And then behind the envelopes, they are actually pockets in their own right, and I've got a little Egyptian illustration here, and then the piece of fold out paper, so something can go on there, and that's tucked behind that guy. And then behind this one, this pocket here has got just a little pull tab, and then it folds down, and there's a couple of pages of the brown paper in there. So that's tucked behind this little guy in there. Get in there. Right. Now, these safety pins here, they are safety pins. I do that every time. Paper clips. They're just looped around this twine, and they can come off if she wants to use them somewhere else, but they just kind of on there. And that is because this opens out, it was once an envelope, and there is a journaling or photo space here, and then inside the envelope there is another piece of ephemera. Those statues again that are here in a smaller form. And I liked the way that that all kind of tied together. And then I've just used the paper clip to hold that shut pretty much. And he just sort of sits there. So then once again, this one at the top, if Bronwen wants to, she can take them off. This folds out. This one's got the grid paper underneath and the back side of that paper clip that's on the other side there, obviously. And then here is our little friend Anubis, top of the sarcophagus. And he has got a piece of paper on his backside to write or stick things on. And that just sort of pokes in there. Now, I've also got at the top up here, you can't really tell, or maybe you can, but there's a little hidden pocket at the top, which has this teeny tiny little hidden note with the Ankh on it, which is the Egyptian symbol for eternal life or life. And I know that Bronwen and I both have a bit of a thing for the Ankh. I've always adored it as a symbol, and I know that was one of the things that we first had a conversation about on the day that we met, was because we had discovered we had this mutual interest in these things. So this now opens out this way, or if I wanted to, I could open it that way, but for the sake of this, I'll open it all the way out. There's the charms and book and everything underneath all falling apart, just because I'm taking a video, because that's how it works, right? So that's all lays out flat like that if it's so desires. So here, these two pages now, I have got another piece of the map, which makes a pocket, which has got this booklet inside, and it's just got scrapbooking paper front and back, and then the interior of that has got the tea-dyed grid paper for more writing and photos and things like that, and that just pokes into there like so. And then this one here has got, this is where Bronwen's golden feather is. You saw Mum's, this is Bronwen's. I'm yet to place mine, but there we go. So in this little letterbox pocket here is this picture of these Egyptian explorers visiting the pyramid. And then underneath, obviously, there's the back of their photograph. And then I've got a piece of paper in that one. And then behind this bigger section here, I have got a bookmark sort of style tag with the pyramids in the background and a sort of townscape at the bottom that I drew. And then on the back is some scrapbooking paper there. So that slips in to the pocket there. And then that slips back into that one. And that, ladies, gentlemen, and fantasy creatures, is it. So when I'm doing it up, I am just going to thread this back through here so that it keeps that bit all together. And then this closes up like so. And then around and around and around and around. So that is my Egypt journal number 2 that I've done for Bronwen's birthday. And Bron, if you're watching this, I hope so much that you love it. I had great fun making it. This is actually the one that I made first. And from the minute that I started making it, I had her in mind. So I was specifically constructing it, thinking about photos and photo placement and places where everything could fit in. So I really hope that she enjoys it, and I hope that she uses it. Bron, use it. Use it! Anyway, the next one that you see, I will walk you through what of mine I have done. And then we will talk about my influences, where I want to go with it. And then we might, like I said, I'll see if I can do some actual sort of craft with me process videos of putting mine together, just, you know, for the sake of interest before we flip through it all at the end. So thanks very much for joining me. Happy birthday, Bronwen. And wherever you are in the world, I hope that you have a great day, a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.